Good afternoon, US. Good evening, UK, and welcome to Paranormal Path Peeps. I hope everyone's all right. And tonight we have a special guest again, Bob Hunt. We've spoken to him a while ago now, and thought we'd catch up, see what he's doing. It's all
It's good to be
changed for
back.
you.
Yeah, it's good to be back. How are you?
Yeah, we're fine. And as ever, we've got Lois. How are you,
Yeah.
Lois?
I'm not bad, thank you. Yourselves?
Yeah, I'm fine. You're a bit busy at the moment with
Yep,
things.
tell me about it.
But yeah, I've been keeping busy. No paranormal investigations for me last weekend, but I was at Derby Jail, and my friends Gina and Pete had a renewal of vows. So I was
wow.
actually the photographer there, but it's a bit weird going to Derby Jail and not being able to call out and
All
ask if
right.
anything's there. So yeah, so that was it was tempting, but I wasn't naughty. Hi Heidi.
Hey, Heidi.
So then, Bob, you've been in paranormal absolutely ages, haven't you? And you took a bit of a
Yeah.
step away. So
Well, through COVID, yeah, that was an enforced
Yeah.
one, and then this year's been really quiet. So hopefully we'll be back soon.
yeah.
Back with a
And
vengeance.
have you got events sort of planned already?
Well, we've got a couple in October in
That's cool.
Salisbury, Castle
Salisbury.
Cottage. Yeah,
Oh wow, cool.
Castle Cottage. So we've got a couple in there. We're hoping to be back to the World War One isolation hospital.
Wow.
And what else we got? Oh, the tunnels. Yeah.
Which ones?
Yeah, the old Napoleon tunnels, Fort Whitley.
Oh,
Whitley or
brilliant.
Purbrook, one of the two. Yeah, so
fantastic.
we'll be back in there in November.
I'd sort of love to go down there, but I'd have to do a bigger holiday sort of to do that, so I could go.
Yeah,
and stuff. So Heidi's looking forward to getting out with you both soon. So
Heidi, yeah, she's trouble, that one. You should have banned her from the show, really.
Oh, bless. Okay. All right. Okay. I think Heidi wants to do Fort Whitley with you. So
Does
there we
she?
go. It
Okay.
look an interesting location.
Pardon?
It does look an interesting location.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's one of those, again, like most places, where it's either really active or, excuse the pun, really dead. But, you know, and it is a lot of walking in chalky tunnels, so you always come out of it filthy. But it's good, because you can see, like, as you're going down the tunnels, you can see where they've been dug out by hand.
Oh,
You
no.
know what I mean? There's like 2-inch bricks where they've been cut out. So they're really interesting places.
I actually, as a child, went to the Underground Hospital in Jersey, which was the working museum. And oh my gosh, I was too young to go, basically. So it kind of put me off going into caves and tunnels, because it's what the Russian prisoners of war actually dug into the hillside, didn't they? Oh my gosh, it was horrible. So you could see all the digger marks. Oh no. So yeah, it kind of put me off tunnels for ages after that. So I don't know if we could do with
that. That would be so good to investigate over there. And there is, I did see one paranormal group actually managed to get in there.
Oh wow!
A group from Sussex. They were doing them, but I haven't seen anything advertised, obviously, for a while because of COVID, and it shut everything down for so long, didn't it?
That's right. But you know, this was so many years ago. But oh gosh, the emotion. Oh dear, you can just imagine what's trapped inside there, can't you?
I mean, you look at the tunnels at Whitley were dug out by French prisoners during the Napoleonic War. So that, you know, there's you can actually bump into spirits that will talk to you in French.
Oh wow!
It's good to have a translator down there.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh! So, do you have a translator with you sometimes then?
No.
No,
we have Sally. Sally says that basically with the spirits she talks to, you know, it doesn't matter what country they come from or language, it will become a multi-language and everybody can understand each other. So
that's right.
True.
Yeah,
that's true. When I was out with the team, we had a Russian journalist with us who was going around the world to see about different paranormal. And she spoke Russian into the EVP, and it came back with an English answer to her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
that's quite interesting, isn't it? And it must be interesting for her to go around and see all the different methods of doing things.
Yeah,
because we were actually out on Saturday with 2 other teams, and the idea was to watch how other teams work. So although you're going to be basically the same, you're all going to have the same equipment. It's the way you use that equipment, because everyone's slightly different, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
I
recently spent time with Brian J. Kano for a weekend, and he uses apps, and he basically showed us his way of using an app. So he used Necrophonic, I think, one of the main ones he used. But what he always does, he's got a password. So he actually says up front, this is our password. If you want to communicate with us, then mention this password, then we'll start listening.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So if you get that password.
Yeah. Yeah, it works perfectly. I mean, we were in it was an ex-war hospital on Saturday, and we asked for the radio to cut all the music out, and it did. And we started getting names that were relevant to one of the people there. It turned into not a personal reading, but it was a message come through that person who'd been waiting to hear from her mum for years. So she got a message, she was happy, and then names relevant to the building come through as well.
That's beautiful, isn't it, when that happens?
It really is.
We have seen a few where it will come through with loved ones, and it kind of get like my loved ones came through once. I went to an investigation at a theatre, and I felt somebody was in the car with me. So we sat in the seats at the beginning, and a medium stood on stage to basically introduce us to the night and go through the groups and everything like that as to do.
Yeah.
And he said, so you've got a lady next door to you? I said, yeah, my mum. And he says, you've got a bloke in a wheelchair behind you. And I didn't get it. But my dad had been in a wheelchair for the last month of his life. So I didn't click at first. But then they brought through the name Mr. Bones, and I knew a dog called that. And then mentioned my dog as well. And actually, they warned me that I was going to lose my dog, in a way.
Yeah.
They basically warned me to look out for my dog. So I kind of knew what it was about, but I ignored it.
We were in a hall that was in a tiny little village, and it's around where Alice in Wonderland, the Alice in the New Forest. Yeah, well, we were in a hall to do with that, and we put the radio up, just me and Sally, before anyone else had got there, and just listening to it, and said, if there's any spirits here, can you mention our name? And that actually come out with Bob Hunt. And I was like, well, off the radio, that's not a radio communication, when it's saying your name just after you've asked for it. So, I'm still loving the radio as my best bit of equipment at the moment.
What is it? Standard SB7, SB11?
No. Do you know what? SB7. I'm not. Maybe it's because I'm older, but it drives me mental.
Yeah, the
noise. And the necrophonics with all of the echo.
Yeah, that's right.
It makes it hard to listen to. So, we use hacked radios.
Oh, that's cool.
So you get, there's no white noise. It just you start getting words, and then when you cut the music out, you've gone away from radio waves.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think sometimes what works for one person in the paranormal doesn't work for another, because I can't work for the life of me dowsing rods, but
Heidi.
But nobody can get the whole, dowsing rods. I just can't. I've not got the knack for them. But what I'm stronger on, Robbie's weaker on. So it just depends on what the person's obviously using.
Yeah.
Heidi's got one here. What do you think of these, Bob?
What?
Cat balls.
Tell her to stop talking about cat balls and move on to something else.
We're having that discussion before we even started.
On
my shelf next door to the candle, just there. I went out the other night, got back, and that was flashing like crazy. I've got 2 cat balls in that pot, and they've been sitting there for absolutely ages. And I was going through a lot of stress that day, so I've been to the pub, came back, just wanted to basically scream. And they were going off, so I had a conversation with the cat balls, and it's been going off a lot today as well. So I've
honestly,
been actually...
we do have them on all the... Yeah, we hope it will. We do have them on all the time here. And also REM pods. Get good communication between the two and get them to move from the cat ball to the REM pod.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
and that. And you go, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just if you can get them to do it on command, ask them, right, you run the cat ball, can you move that to the REM pod, move your energy, and it moves, and then you ask them to move back, and it does. There's something going on that's not normal.
That's right. It's all about on demand, isn't it? And getting an intelligent reaction.
Yeah.
Like, I know who's been affecting those, a family member. And I'll go, is that? And it will start flashing because I know it is. I go, and it stops because they know before I even say it.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
they can mind read, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They can mind read. I've actually done a Ouija board experiment with asking questions by mind so that people on the board don't know what the question is and having the correct answers come back. So it's just a bit bizarre.
It is amazing, isn't it? What's your best one, Lois?
What?
What method do you like? What sort of...
I must admit, I was quite sceptical about cat balls, and I had a good laugh because I thought they were a load of junk until I started having experiences with them, and then I was kind of like, wait, no, these actually do work. I'm growing into the old school method rather than the newer. If I could, the best, I always taught at the beginning, the best thing to use is yourself rather than the equipment.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. I do. And Sally Ann's good at that, isn't she?
Sally, she's probably one of the best mediums I've seen. She's got a link that very few have.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah, going back to the equipment though, I think what people tend to forget is they're not actually there to prove there's a ghost. All the equipment, we don't know what a ghost is made of, so how can you make equipment to prove they're there?
That's right.
Exactly.
We're getting some interaction with whatever, aren't we? And can only guess it's a past person, really. It could be an alien. It could be anything.
Yeah, you talk about alien. I mean, we've had communication with these, whatever it was, that claimed to come from the future, 200 years in the future, and was back in our bedroom talking to me and Sally, to the point where we're thinking, nah, this is like too much. But then I dropped asleep, and it actually said, "Bob, you're asleep," and so it woke me back up again. So it's like, I don't know. You just don't know what you're communicating with.
Yeah,
that's it. As far as I'm aware, I've never come across anything that's on the negative side. I don't like using the word demons because that to me implies religion. So
yeah, that's right.
There's Annie. All right, Annie. Yeah.
Carl just gets spiked cat balls then, so you can rule them out rolling. So when they flash, what's caused them to flash?
To be honest, we've filmed them really uptight on investigations, and we've never had one move, but still gone off.
Yeah, I don't think they actually move.
No, there seems to be, I don't know the inner workings, and this is where we're doing an experiment, a deeper experiment with them at the moment. And Annie, who's on there now, has actually taken one of the bits to look on the insides, and they still work even when they're in two halves.
Wow. Is it like a metal switch between the two? Like just a little piece of metal which catches?
I haven't looked in there, and you'll have to ask Annie. She's our techie.
This is what I'm wondering, if you can tell us. Yeah, because I want to. I will take them apart. Hey, Stephen.
Hey,
Thanks for
Steve.
joining us. Yeah,
so
they
that's
kind of
what
work with me, which is odd, but
yeah, no, they work with everyone. You just like Lewis said earlier, you look at them and go, oh, don't be stupid. How does this is not paranormal, but you do get responses.
yeah, I don't know. So I was sneezing earlier and it kept going off. So I thought, right, is it because I'm sneezing? Is it the vibration? And maybe that was the case then. But
yeah, it could be. I mean,
I am working on that one at the moment.
What, the vibration?
Yeah. But then if you're quiet, then what's causing it? I don't know. But I don't think they move. I've even had an EDI next door too. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've even had an EDI next door so you can see if anything's tapped or, and it's not picked anything up on that sensor. So,
there you go. Listen, there's Annie's just put an explanation in at the bottom for you.
So cat balls work by using a tiny ball bearing that moves from one side of a little tube to another.
See, every day's a school day in the paranormal.
Which explains how spirit can potentially move it then, doesn't it?
Yeah, move it without moving it.
Just move a tiny ball bearing rather than
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
You solved massive mystery there. Because I knew they interacted. Yeah, I knew they interacted. So I've learnt something tonight. That's brilliant. But yeah. So, anyone watching, what's your favourite tools then, Stephen?
Yeah.
Or Carl.
Well, I know
whoever.
Heidi's a cat ball girl.
Cat ball, yeah. They're so much easier to walk around with, aren't they, than a bag of kit?
Well, they are. I mean, we were out at a hovercraft museum, and Heidi got a EVP that was really clear. So there are different ways.
Ain't it?
No.
When I've tried to manipulate the ball bearing with a magnet, I've had no flash response. Interesting. I'd be intrigued to know how this works. Oh,
so
Steve likes his Steve likes his SB7 then. Which
I've getting good responses off his PSB7. I've watched his lives and I've had the honour of investigating them.
Yeah, they are good. It's just to me, it's just listening through all that white noise for the words. It just drives me mad. So for our group, we use the hack radio, so you don't get the white noise. You just listen to words, and it's so much clearer. But everyone works different ways, and
yeah, that's right. And as long as you challenge everything you get, really, because I think every piece of kit has got its own little faults, hasn't it? And you've just got to work out and debunk whatever you can.
Yeah, it's when you work on the principle that we don't know what a ghost is made of, so therefore we can't use a piece of equipment to prove they're there. So basically, with the equipment is to do the baselines, and if anything changes environmentally, you've got a note of that, and you can start working around debunking everything on that piece of information.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've got to work with that equipment. The bits of equipment that really work. Radio for me is the best. So the SB7, if that's what people prefer, or the 11. We've got a few people that have got the 11, and they're even more difficult because you've got two radios doing it. But and for us, it's a hack radio. Or if you prefer to go the old school, it's just the old EVP. You just ask questions, record, and see what you get.
I've heard some great EVPs, but they don't kind of work with me very well.
They don't.
So no, I think I got one EVP, and there's a box I interacted with at Haunted Antiques, and it's supposed to be not a debug box, but it's a wax box with something inside it apparently. And the EVP came through, get me out, which is absolutely awesome. Then I deleted it, didn't I, by accident?
Yeah, we went to a graveyard that has the grave of Florence Nightingale.
Oh, wow.
Sally had put a dictaphone on the bottom of the grave and just said, if there's any spirits here, can you talk into the box? And when you played it back, you heard a male voice go, what box?
Oh,
and I guess you look at it and go, no, it's not actually a box, is it? We just call it a box.
Yeah. It's how you describe things as well, isn't it? Which is, you know, like depending what era they're from, you know, something flashing, a flashing light is like, what the hell's that? So, you know, you don't want to scare people. And obviously, like, if they're heavily into religion and you're around, then it's like strange as well, isn't it? You know, you're satanic or something to them.
Honestly, I did have one in Alton. We had table till and a Ouija board in the same room, kind of at the same time. And apparently the spirit decided that I was going to burn in hell for all eternity because I was talking to demons. And I was like, when did you die? 1566. Right, so you're a Puritan and that's your religious views. By the end of it, I think we changed his mind by just explaining that we were not there to do any harm. We're just talking to people out of love and everything else. And he went away quite happy.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, sort of get things like that through. So, what's the best location you've ever been to then?
I do love the old Crag and Knots up in Wales.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been?
No.
No, you need to. Brecon Beacons is lovely. They've got the nurses' quarters, which is a haunted. You can stay in quite cheaply, or you can stay in the hotel. The bottom room is the bottom floor. Sorry, is all nicely done out. It's that use that as a hotel, but the top two floors are pretty much derelict, and you can get the ghost hunts up there, and they're really good. And lovely views as well, and a nice drive there.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely stunning in Wales, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a bit like going to Scotland, I would think.
Yeah.
For views and things.
Depends on where you're going.
That's true. We were looking on something on the internet the other day, because I remember the last time we were talking, and you're saying like there's deserted castles you can just walk in, and was looking at things going, oh my God, why can't you know? We've got nothing like that here, and if we did have, there's £1,000 to hire it. Do you know what I mean? Someone's making money all the time.
Oh, definitely.
Do you think sometimes though, Bob, that people hike the prices as soon as they know why you want a castle?
Yeah, definitely. It's everything you do. You know, if you mention paranormal, you've hiked the prices up. You could just
wedding.
Be a toy. Do you know
if
what
you
I mean?
mention wedding or paranormal.
Yeah. But it's like the equipment, isn't it? If you just buy a torch and it says suitable for paranormal, you just put an extra 20 quid on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know if you were on this one, Lois.
I was on this one, and can I just verify that this man does not jump at anything, and I've known him for nearly 7 years, right? He never jumps at anything. But do you know what? When we were at Lennox Castle, he absolutely did shit his pants.
No way.
Yeah.
And that's because there was a spirit behind him and it sighed at him. And I've never seen Stephen jump.
Oh my gosh.
We were in the Motor Museum in the New Forest, and they've got palace houses. It's where the lords and all that live. And they gave us access to it. There's only one team and nobody else is allowed in there. But we were down in the cellar, just two of us, and you heard what sounded like someone running on the floor above you really quickly as well. And you're thinking like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, it's pitch black. Why is anyone running? But when you actually listen back to the recording, it was someone playing the drums in the room that we were in, right behind us.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, it's mad. It was absolutely mad. But it's
yeah.
So we've had a couple of good little locations that nobody would even know about, and I guess nobody had ever experimented there. And we walked in, and the very first day we were there, someone knocked on the door next to me, and I was the only one in the room. And when I said, if that spirit, do it again, and they did, I said, well, don't stand outside, mate. Come on in. You're more than welcome to join us.
Oh, lovely.
And it ended up, we were there for about 2 years, and every time we went there was paranormal activity. It was crazy stuff, you know. It's, yeah, it's good. They just seemed to come out because they knew we could accept it. They come out and interacted with us.
Yeah, I think like if it's a place investigated a lot, then they kind of stand back, just wondering what entertainment they've got for the night.
Well, yeah,
but if you find somewhere different,
yeah, even and Andy. So. Yeah, somewhere that nobody else really knows, but they're very difficult to find out because anything that's being hired for the paranormal is going to cost you an arm and leg.
Yeah.
Yep,
so,
definitely.
You know, I don't know what the prices are like in Scotland, but down south, you know, if you're doing a prison, you're talking 1,200 quid. Anything to do with Southampton Castle, you're looking at £1,200 to £1,500. It's general rule is probably £400 to £500.
Scotland's no any better. I mean, I tried to hire out a place for a team I was with, and another team was going to come in as a split, and it was astronomical prices. They gave me one quote, and as soon as they knew I was doing paranormal, they upped it by £300. It was so funny. And I was like,
yeah. You know, as much as we deride the most haunted, this is what we got to thank for, because you know they've made ghost hunting so popular that everyone knows there's money to be made now, so they're all making it. You know, we're trying to do things with we're doing things with no profit, and you know what I mean. Sometimes it's just you just look at places and go, I can't afford to do it, because we really want to be there with no more than 6 to 8 people.
Yeah, I'm like that. I've got places 6 to 8, and you're still losing money on that at the moment. It's just hard to sell anything at the moment with things changing, isn't it? You know,
yeah, I do. You know, COVID still got a little bit to do with that. I think people were, and also, of course, this inflation is going through the roof. You know, people are tight with their money at the moment, and they need to be. You know?
Yeah, we don't have a clue what's going to happen, do we?
No, so you know, people don't have as much spare money. But Heidi on the bottom there, I'm just reading. She said about helium balloon, and this was
yeah, I was going to ask you about that one.
A 17th century pub in Titchfield. Titchfield was where the plague actually started in England.
Oh wow!
So we're in there, and they got an old bit that looks like it's partly connected to an old barn, and then an extension is put in the middle to join the pub to the barn. We're in there, and there's an old helium balloon that was up in the rafters. And as we were all sat there, and you're talking about 15 people, this balloon's come down, and it's gone right to head level, and it's gone in between every single person, touched no one, didn't touch a table, just went to every person individually.
Wow.
And then it went back up, and then every time you walk back in there, it would come back down again, and it was just hanging around people. It was just really bizarre. And by the end of the night, it was back up, jammed itself in the rafters, so it couldn't come down no more. It didn't make any sense. There was no draft. No. It's not like there was windows open blowing it around. It was just going up and down. And with helium, if the helium's running out, you would expect it to come down and stay down. But this was going back up again. It's, we have got it filmed. I'll have to share it with you.
Oh, definitely,
yeah, it's very bizarre to watch.
Yeah, and sort of balloon floating, but then if it's got its like own purpose in a way.
Yeah, it did definitely had a purpose, because it was going from table to table, person to person, and stopping just in front of them or just moving. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird to watch.
Isn't it? It's great when you get something totally different from the norm, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was one of those places where you would think it's so quiet, not much has happened. But then we went down to one room, just 2 of us, and as we were clearing up, make sure there was nothing left. And as I left, I said, as I always do, if there's any spirits who've interacted with us, thank you, I'll say goodnight. And you heard it was more like a groan than a voice. It was like, oh. And you was like, what the hell was that? 2 of us heard it in the room, and then someone who was down the corridor just about to go into the toilet went, what was that? So it was loud enough for 3 people to hear it from a distance.
Wow.
Andy's just reminded me, if people want to see that film footage, it's on the Keep It Real Paranormal and Spiritual and Paranormal Events YouTube channel.
YouTube channel, yeah. So
yeah,
I'll try and share that
out
out onto Paranormal Path later on, and try and have it's under here on the link. So yeah.
I mean, the other thing is with the SP7. I mean, to see the difference, we've got nearly an hour of just our hack radio conversations that were in the hotel in Weymouth. So there's plenty there, so you can see the difference. How I find it easier to listen to words without, and I'm sure, as Stephen said, you know, if you keep using it, you get used to it, and therefore you don't hear the white noise so much. But it's just can drive you mental.
Yeah, first time you hear it, it's like, it does sort of do your head in, doesn't it? What's the bizarrest experience you've had then, Lois? Something out of the norm.
I can't think. When I think of one, I'll come back to you.
Okay, because I've had a few, but a couple. I was working at a public event, and there's a Ouija board on the table. All of a sudden, I saw glitter just dancing above it. It's so beautiful and brightly coloured, and just little bits of glitter just floating. I thought, that's my eyes. So, you know, you blink, you look away, you look again, it's doing it again. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, nice.
One of the best, most beautiful views I've ever seen. It's so lovely. Yeah. And I mentioned this, and somebody else said they'd seen that themselves at a different investigation. And it's just seeing the energy, isn't it, in a way?
There's so many ways that spirits present themselves. I mean, the things that I love to hear, I don't know if you've had the experience, is direct voice, where there's nobody in the room, but someone talks to you and you hear it with your ears, not in your mind, you know?
Yeah.
We've had that quite a few times. Yeah, we've had it here. Me and Sally, we used to do quite a lot of spiritual stuff here, and we were talking about how great it would be if you could have direct communication with spirit, and you can have it in real time, so you could talk to them and you get your answer. And we sat in the front room, and then out the kitchen you could hear a lady's voice going, "Can you hear me?" And it's like, well, you know, everything was locked up. It was winter, so there's no windows open. It's just, no, we've had that a few times. It's good to see.
I had it once. It's quite perturbing. I've been on an investigation at Gresley Hall, which is, it's got links to a monastery. Some of the stonework might be from a monastery, and it's quite an old building and stuff, and it's quite a lot in decline at the moment. But yeah, a lovely little place. And I left there, came back here, and was just going to a bedroom, and I heard, "Hello, Jackie." I knew it wasn't my family. My family called me Jacqueline. So it was difficult to know who was actually talking to me. But so I went to bed quickly and stuffed my sheets over my head and went to sleep. I don't generally do scared, but that was a bit much. I was a bit tired. I thought, I don't want to be in my house, thank you.
I must admit, I love when spirits are cheeky, because there's one investigation I done, and I kept saying to Spirit, "What's your name?" And I said, "My name's Lois," and it kept saying Lois back at me. And I was like, "No, what's your name?" "Lois." And I was like, "Your name's no Lois, I'm Lois." And do you know what? I love when they're dead cheeky with you and they go the full cycle.
It's good. But maybe that was their name, though. Maybe it was.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So we've got Andy Tom then. He tends to do local churches with permission. Put a few quid in the wall safe to help with the upkeep and to say thank you for the use of a church and any activity they may get.
I would always love to do church.
So I think, I'm not sure, but I think most of the churches down here are anti-paranormal. So to go and ask them, you know, it's not. But from outside of churches, I've had interesting experience. Just sat outside of it. We've actually asked one of the any spirits here, "Can you let us know?" And from inside the church, it sounded like someone had picked up one of the pews and dropped it. It was that loud a bang. It was just like, whoa. So
that's brilliant. Yeah, it's just so many great places to go, and there's just history everywhere, isn't there?
Isn't it?
So I've got Annie and Trevor. I've got Annie and Trevor Davis then. Strangest I ever had was a massive headite orb say that after a few, that I saw when I was 12. At the time, it terrified me. However, it triggered an interest with the paranormal. I've also had some direct voice many years ago. Some strange things have happened that I didn't even realise could be potential paranormal activity at the time.
And that's the thing with most.
Yeah.
A lot of paranormal, you'll walk by it without realising what it is. And I think that's why so many people won't believe it, because they're not looking for it. It's a bit bizarre, isn't it? You just walk by and don't take any notice.
Yeah. So we've got Joe here. Certain psychotic conditions can cause voice or sleep deprivation. It's another cause, and some people just lie for financial gains and attention. Yeah, they do. You're right, but you have to trust. You have to trust the people telling the stories.
Yeah, but when they're heard by 6 people at the same time, the same voice, the same words, that's not, that's not one, unless you're having mass hysteria and everyone's being wound up by everyone else. But I know that we've been in places where, we've even had one where music's carried on after people have stopped playing it. It didn't make any sense, but that happened with 6 witnesses. It's just like, it's bizarre stuff.
That's right.
But they're some of the best investigations you can have, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. You just never know what you're get.
We've got Joe Biden taking an interest in one of our
chats. How lucky are we? I now take my 12-year-old grandson around the cemeteries. He loves getting cat ball action in them.
Good.
That's cool.
Get them interested young. That's the way to do it.
That's right. And it's just about being respectful and understanding that, like, a lot of people are scared of it, but it's not the dead who you've got to fear, really, is it? Just walk down the street and you find out what there is to fear, basically. So, so we've got a local priory which I've visited that most of the group heard singing in the quiet area at the back of the priory. So that's brilliant. Yeah.
Did you hear it?
No, that one in Leicestershire. Yeah. No, not me.
You did. Oh, that's a shame.
I wasn't there, no, but we walked back from the priory, and we all had a K2 and just walking along with it. At one specific spot, all the K2s went to red. No electrical cables in the area because it's in some woodland. At that time, a friend looked into the woods and there's something looking at him with red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So we were called to stop there for a reason, weren't we?
Yes. Yeah. So it's, again, that spirit working in this mysterious way that they do. They give you warning something's going to happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder who that was. Was that a loved one of somebody who was there?
No, well, not with me. No,
that could be with someone else in the group, though, couldn't it? Just said stop, and then everyone stopped.
I'm not sure. Cause, the Priory, obviously, they've got a lot of history. But the funny thing is, I know it's silly, but like you go to a Priory, right? And you go, can you talk to me? Can you communicate? You've got SB7, whatever. What if they've got a vow of silence? You're a bit screwed then, aren't you?
Yeah. Well,
so I was at the Priory that night asking, can you talk to us? It's like, oops. Is this a silly question?
I mean, we've always been lucky because we've been to not monasteries, but old churches. Yeah, not supposed to wear monasteries. And you look at them and you go, right, there's Benedictine monks in there. So know what their religion worked, and it was good, and it was really active as well. So we got others where there was, I can't remember the name of one of the ones with the white habits. Do you remember?
So many, aren't there? Many different.
Yeah, so I can't remember what they called, but it was, that's another place that's got so much haunted activity. I actually I thought it was an urban myth of driving a car past it at night and a monk would appear in your back seat. I thought, no, that's just a myth. But then I actually met someone who said, no, that's no myth. It actually happened to me. And he used to drive, a naval officer who used to drive home, and as he was coming back past the abbey, Yeah, there was a monk sat in his back seat. You could see it quite clearly. Yeah, it caused a few. Yeah, it caused a few crashes apparently in the past.
Gosh, it would.
There you go. Yeah, I suppose you're going to put your foot down, trying to get away from it, aren't you? But...
Yeah, or just like, well, you're not going to look at the road, are you? And if there's a bend, you're screwed, aren't you? Oh gosh. Yeah, I'll have to get back to that priory soon. It got me twitching now when I go. While the weather's still okay. Yeah, you get different types of spirits there as well, the monks, etc. Also an elemental, yeah. And what do you think about elementals then?
I've got no experience of them at all.
Okay.
It's something I've heard about,
yeah.
But I don't think I've ever encountered one. So I'm gonna leave that one there.
Yeah, that's cool, Lois. Have you encountered?
I can't say I have ever encountered the elemental.
Yeah, at Haunted Antiques, where I've been quite a few times, yeah, like the second home, there were a lot of elementals apparently, specifically in the seance room. And people go in and, I've heard weird scratching, and I don't know what it is. Just some sort of weird scratching, and you've heard something like trying to communicate with your stomach as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're trying to do a board, and it was on a live feed, and our stomachs were kind of communicating with something because our stomachs were making a sound, and then it wasn't our stomach, and some sound was coming through. And it was like some sort of random conversation going on. But then, I've heard there's elementals there, but I can't actually see them. So another time I went with the great medium, Daniel Hopkins, and he came, he put his feet down and freaked out because he saw all these things on the floor, and he actually saw them. And yeah, it's just these little things around, yeah. But
I think maybe sometimes it's best not to see them, by the sound of that one.
Yeah, elemental.
Asking what an elemental is.
Yeah, it's kind of not human, basically. It's something not of this earth, really. You can't say it's like a dog or a cat. It's just something totally different from that. Just something what moves about, and yeah.
Have you got a favourite place? Bob, you got a favourite place?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah, locally.
Just anywhere.
I mean, because there's so many different places because we do so much. But like, there's a hovercraft museum that some people find quite boring, but we've sat there as in small teams and had so much activity and bizarre stuff. Annie and myself done a Ouija board between the two of us, and we were asking if you're a spirit, where are you? And you're hearing bangs around the room where they're telling you where they are. And he's seen an orb go under the table, and he said, "Did you see that orb?" I said, "No, I didn't see it." And then you hear the bang from underneath. It's a very interesting place, but you have to be in small groups, which is why we tend to be no more than 6 to 8, because we want to split that down to 3 or 4 to get in there and try and actually find and tempt them out and give us some proof that they're there.
Yeah, that's it. My next book in September 2nd is like 7 of us going at the moment. So yeah, the 8 tops. So it's just to get, and if we even want to split, because there's quite a few rooms there. So even if we want to split, you're not in each other's way as well. But if you have like the capacity of about 16, it just
I mean, we went to the place on Saturday and we had a massive area to cover, so we went down into individual sessions. We just sent people in different places just to see what they picked up. Again, it's a different sensation to being with a group. Actually go into a room and you sit there on your own and try and pick things up from that. It's quite interesting.
Do you think it's harder to pick something up on your own though, because it's the energy from one person?
Not necessarily. If they want to contact you, they will. The difference is like if you've got the medium ability of someone like Sally, they can come and talk to you quite openly and you can hear them. For me, it has to be a bit more physical when they're acting with cat balls or the REM pods or something, a piece of equipment. So totally different, so when you're together, you've got both sides, but individually, it can still be as good.
I think as well, I love the whole, see if you go, say there's 6 years, you split into 3, just take 6 for prime example, you split into 3, one investigates one side of the building, another investigates the other side of the building, you swap, and then at the very end, I like to see if Andy's got the same results as somebody else.
We do that all the time, really. I mean, especially if we got guests with us, so that everyone can see what was got by each group. And then you do find a lot of times they will merge into one, if you like. So 2 or 3 groups are getting the same information from the same area.
Yeah, that's it.
It's definitely, I love that.
I do like that. Andy Tom says different people have different perceptions about elementals. Check out Wikipedia for a more overall view, which because I'm actually shocking at defining anything. I really am. So definitely look at Wikipedia or something, because I called it itchy and scratchy. That's what I called one of the elementals at HAPRC, because it had claws.
Well,
and
it must have worked. I must get up there. We must get a group up today, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did say to Neil we'd go up there, but we ain't got there yet.
Yeah, it's just a drive now, isn't it, for you? But
everywhere's a drive for us. We're down south. You can't get any further down.
I know. You did come to Nottingham and I missed out. That was bad.
Yeah, I will be back there.
Yeah, definitely. I need to go back there. Yeah, it's I've got quite a history with that place.
We were going to go in April, but it's still, everything was a bit up in the air, so we had to leave that. But we'll be back early next year, I would think.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's a wonderful place.
It's just the 5-hour drive after.
Yeah, I know. It's shocking.
That must kill you, Bob, the 5-hour there and back.
Yeah, so 5-hour up there, then do your whole night investigation through till 6 in the morning, and then 5 hours back home again.
It's shocking. Yeah.
That's dedication.
I think maybe I might get a hotel though.
Yeah, I think it's safer, isn't it? Because I can find that I can get, I won't travel more than an hour without camping somewhere, because I'm just too tired afterwards.
Oh,
that's the problem.
What a trip that must be.
Yeah, it's cool. You get. I've had it where it's been frosty, so I've left the venue. I was working at Bakewell one night, and it's frosty that night. So about 2:10 after the event finished, I rolled into my freezing tent. But I've got my electric blanket on, so it's lovely.
That's
I'm not even going to ask.
Electric
electric blanket. Yeah, definitely. It's cool.
I mean,
electric blanket when you're camping.
Oh, I camp everywhere. Yeah, I'm going anyway. I'm going to a haunted location camping soon. Skegness Church Farm.
Don't know.
So, basically, it's some land right in the middle of a housing estate, but they've got some oldie worldy thatched cottages there, and a old farm museum, things like that. So you don't actually realise you're in the housing estate when you're in there. It's like a little compound. It's really great. And
actually, do you know what? You say that. We went to Caldecott in South Wales. There's a place called Secunda, Anthony Secunda, and that was owned by Henry VIII, and there's a hell of a history in there. But when you drive to it, it is in the middle of a housing estate. But it's like the housing estate goes up and around it. So once you're in the house, you don't see the houses because they're all up above you. It's very bizarre place. And it's got a big hazard down the road. So that's always handy, because you tend to stay for the weekend, and then you can cook your own food, and
it's well handy. Joe Biden then he's mentioned this, where the way brains are wired to pick up patterns in inanimate objects, like faces in clouds for one.
Pareidolia.
Now most of us here will not do that. Like if you look at my logo, which is hidden, if I remove Lois, you'd actually see it looks like the photo behind Lois is actually Whitby Abbey. I took it straight onto the sun, and it looks like there's a ghost towering above the Abbey, and it looks beautiful, but it's just clouds, you know.
Yeah,
like you can't,
but don't you just love it?
I just blocked it. I blocked you with a big head.
Hello, yeah.
No, me and Sally. I mean, we used to do it all the time. Just look at the clouds, and go, "Well, what can we see?" Do that, and then I remember saying to her once, "Is this what we're going to do for the rest of our lives? Just to stand looking at clouds? Oh, look, there's a duck." It's just
yeah. Oh, there's an angel one, and it goes viral. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah. But yeah, I think some people desperately want to see paranormal, and much as though if you've seen it, well, if you've seen things that you can't explain, then you know there's something else maybe in existence, sort of thing. But
yeah, but then sometimes you have to watch that because some people are too eager. Look at
that bush.
And not only that, they become too engrossed in the whole thing that they can actually push spirits back because it's just too much for them.
Yeah. It's almost the power of suggestion. If you tell yourself you're going to go out and look for something, you're going to be convinced. If you stay neutral and say, "I'm just going out ghost hunting," you never know what's happening.
Now, there was a place in Portsmouth that one of the people I was with at the time was convinced that there was a demon in there, and then sent us a photo, said, "Look, this is proof there's a demon." So me and Sally actually sat down and looked at it, and you're like, "No, that's just a stain on the wall." But they convinced themselves there was this demon, and it's just mad. But I'm not saying demons don't exist, don't get me wrong, but I just wouldn't call them demons because of that going into religion, and it's a different thing. It's a negative energy.
It's addictive, isn't it?
It is.
Definitely. Joe, no, we like intelligent discussion. Yep. That's it. So yeah, we do like alternative views, and thanks for taking part. And this is the thing.
If you don't look at all sides, if you only listen to one side of an argument, you're not listening at all, are you? Because you're just telling yourself the same things over and over. So you have to look for an alternative.
Yeah, that's
and it's always good to have one skeptic that comes in and questions what's going on.
Especially when he comes from America.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. But everything we do get, I know you check. You check and you try and validate everything you get through, don't you? And Lois,
we throw more away than what we keep, and that's for sure. Do you know what it is? I think because we've had so much really good evidence. I mean, we've had stuff that just would make your toes go if you weren't looking for it. But because of that, now when anything comes in, we're looking for something extra special to keep us going. Do you know what I mean? Anything that's just, there's a noise over there. Oh, that could be anything. Throw it out.
Yeah. Let's see it move.
Always, well, we just dismiss things until we can go, you know what? I've got no explanation for that. There's no possible explanation. So that's how we work. And I find it's best because otherwise, if you believe everything, that's worse than not believing everything in a way.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's best to get somebody who doesn't believe in anything. I was at Drakelow Tunnels, which I'm gutted that's closed because that was a fantastic location. So much history, and some of the spirits down there are a bit heavy going as well. So it's brilliant, used in the war and stuff like that, and the car manufacturing place. And I was on a public event working for them. So basically, we asked one person to go to the end of 4 tunnels. We were in the centre bit, and then just go down the end. And there's this guy who's a skeptic. He didn't believe in it, thought it was a load of rubbish. So he went down one out the way, quite away from the group, and we sort of said, well, and one of the friends said, can you tap this person on the shoulder? Something tapped him on the shoulder. He came legging it towards us. And it's stuff like that, you know, like it's the fact that he felt what we asked and he did not hear us, and that was so good.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I mean, I remember the first organised ghost hunt I went on was at one of King John's hunting houses, local. And as we got there, the bloke that was running and said to me, walk down the far end of the garden. What? He said, walk down the end of the garden on your own, see what you feel. So I went down there, I went, yeah, you know, it feels like you're being watched. I don't get it. He said, well, last time I was down there, I got punched. He got punched by a ghost. So he sent me down there on the first time. But yeah,
awesome. Yeah, that's it. And people have had physical things happen to them. You know, it's not happened to me. Can it happen to me? I don't know. And it's there, isn't it?
Do you know what? Maybe I've just been lucky, but I've never been scratched by a spirit. I've never been punched. I've been touched. I've been touched. I've had my head rubbed. I've been poked on the shoulders. And also clothes. Like I remember distinctly having my collar pulled by someone who wasn't there, and it was so I've had all that, but I've never had any physical harm. So maybe I've just been lucky. Maybe I've just haven't run into that negative spirit that's ready to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. So and Trevor Davis, sometimes we look too hard. We need to remember the subtle things that could be paranormal activity when we're on an investigation. That's it. But sometimes they're that subtle, you think it's the radiator, don't you? And this is the issue.
Of course, you do. And Annie's quite right. We probably have thrown away a lot of paranormal evidence because we're looking too hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I went to Magna, and it's former steelworks, and it used to have 14 massive furnaces, and it's like a great big bean can, basically. It used to have these furnaces in, and it's a hot summer's day 2 weeks ago, really warm, and, you know, can you let us know you're here? And you hear a bang, but you think, well, that's the metal in the roof, because it's just a vast place, or you blame it on the security, or you blame it on... So a lot of what we got that night, we just like blamed it on everything, and you know, we don't know if we're communicating, but it was some of it was happening on command, but you just go no, and you know, terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you can write it off as coincidence when it's really not. I mean, Sally always says no such thing as coincidence. It's
it's just a massive place. Heidi, I skipped it till I went out with Keep It Real. Yeah.
Who said that? Heidi?
Heidi, yeah.
Yeah. See, well, that's because, do you know what? We always say to everyone, whatever happens, happens. We will not fake anything. There's nothing that we're going to do that's to try and make you jump. If you experience something you don't understand what it is, talk to us. We'll try and explain it. And, And then Heidi come out with us on a few occasions. We went to the Hovercraft Museum. On the Ouija board, he got insulted quite nastily. She picked up her first ever EVP, where she asked, do you mind us being here? And she's got an EVP of someone going, yes. So, you know, it's just one of them things, isn't it?
It is an awkward one if they say, yeah, there's a problem. Like, you've paid 150 quid for this venue. You're not going to leg it, are you?
Yeah, no, we did. There was one when me and Sally were in Weymouth, and it was just me and Sally, and there was she saw a spirit, and we said, well, she said, well, you try and communicate with him. So he wouldn't answer her, and she thought it was because she was a female. So I was going, are we in your area? Is this your area? And the cat ball went off, which we'd never really had a lot of success before that with a cat ball.
Yeah.
And then it's like, do you wish us to leave? And off it went again. So I said to Sally, oh, come on, he's asked us to go. Should we go? He went, no, we've just got communication now. We got to carry on. So I said, yeah, but we said we would leave. No, confirm it. It might not be real. So, okay. You know, Sally's asked me to confirm for a second time, do you wish us to leave? And off they went again. And we'd had a bit of an argument about leaving as we got to do it a third time. And every time we asked, it went off. So in the end, we left it because we knew that we were there. Well, we had another 24 hours. you know, we were there for 48 hours, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a problem. We went back down the next day and recorded a show, and I've never seen Sally so jumpy in all my life.
Oh, bless you.
Spent the whole show looking over her shoulder, making sure he wasn't still there. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the places.
Yeah.
You know, some of the best evidence I've ever had come from that hotel. It was just mental. It really was mental. They still do now. You go down there, and there's a spirit that will turn lights on and off when you ask it to, and you know, it's it's good.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we'll have to sort of do a holiday down that direction.
Yeah, the only problem is you can only do it in the winter when it's shut. Obviously, it's a hotel, so, you know. Oh, it's gone very dark in someone's house.
I haven't paid for my electric on, so I'm doing quite well with the screen, to be fair. Yeah.
It's probably mine, because I always sit, I find, see, when the light's on and I've got the computer on, it gives me a read. So it's just like, I prefer sitting down in the dark, plus it makes it dead eerie. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like me as well now, it's dark, so yeah.
That's good. It's getting in the ghost hunting time, isn't it? We were out on Saturday. Couldn't believe by 20 past 8:30 it was getting dark.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
We're getting there.
It makes a difference, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. I know it's dead weird. You book a location, it's like light till 10. It's like, yeah, okay. You know, we don't need torches. We've got Trevor Davis, like Draco, got some great light anomalies there, and
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we've had. It was
fantastic.
all sorts, and it does seem like every time you go back, they're doing something different. Like the first time we went, it was all cat balls and REM pods. The second time we went, they were using the building electrics, and the lift kept going up and down. It was, you know, and then you had the radio as well, and you've had all sorts of things down there, and it's a subtle difference every time you go back.
Yeah.
Well, sure am, Andy, as I'm in ghost hunting mode, sitting in the dark.
Oh, bless you. Here's Joe again then. I have a dear friend who's high-level schizophrenic after being medicated. In hospitals. I can't even pronounce it. Symptoms did relinquish. He believed the organs were being stolen at night by a demon. Oh, bless him. Yeah.
Yeah, schizophrenia is a very it's a nasty illness, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually I did a mental health course. And we tried to do the schizophrenia. So basically, we did a exercise where we spoke to somebody, tried to have a conversation, but then we had somebody speaking in our ear hole. So you were trying to have a conversation, and they were speaking in your ear, and it's like all this noise in your head, and you're trying, you know what I mean? You're trying to have a conversation. It's just all this noise and.
So you're talking to one person, but someone else is talking into your ear at the same time.
Yeah, exactly, about something totally different. And you know, and oh my gosh, to live with something, oh gosh, it must be so difficult. But yeah, but with anything, you do have to rule out, you know, if you get people having issues in the houses, you've got to look at if it is them, if it is a medical condition. Oh, but yeah, it was really
it's, you know,
you've got to rule out the obvious first.
Yeah, well, before before COVID, when people come to us, if people said, "Well, my house is haunted, can you come and have a look?" We would say, "Yeah, it's £50," because a lot of people were looking for a free ghost hunt. So what we do once we got there, once we realised they did actually need our help, it was free.
Right. Yeah. You know? Get you.
Or if it was a mental issue, we go, "No, sorry, you know, we think that you need to go and see your doctor and get help because there seems to be a mental issue going on there," and try and steer them that way. It's very difficult.
Yeah. As Anne and Trevor Davis said, mental health problems are very much misunderstood, and the stigma doesn't need to be removed, and it does. You know, it affects a lot of us. You know.
Honestly, there's a lot more than you realise. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. And people, you know, they don't talk about it, but they need to, don't they?
Yeah.
And you know, there's plenty of like people, like if they can't talk to the friends, there's plenty of helplines out there. You know,
yeah. Do you know what though? I've found with a lot of people I know that have got mental health issues, they don't think they have. You know, they don't realise that they've got a mental health. They're just living it because that's their normal life. They've grown into that slowly, and it needs someone outside sometimes to try and talk to them.
Yeah, that's right.
It's definitely.
Yeah. But everyone sort of has a way through life, but please, you know, if you do feel bad, just don't go it alone and just try and talk to somebody, whatever you can do. But yeah, like I did want to do a mental health chat. Wow, what was it? It was Mental Health Awareness Week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was a bit down, then I couldn't do it. You know,
it affects so many people, and and I think the idea of what Joe brought up about his friend with schizophrenia, thinking that demons were taking his body parts at night and bringing them back again. It just must be awful. You just don't understand what they're going through, do you?
No, it's like my mum. She had Alzheimer's, and she was convinced that she'd been attacked at hospital. I won't go into specifics. So much so, she went to the police.
Really?
And everything, yeah.
Oh,
and then we have a conversation. Yeah, but then we're having the conversation with the police. Do you think it happened? Well, 99.9% no. But you still kind of, you know, but in her head it was real. And when we spoke to her, we had to speak to her as it was real because she truly saw it as being real.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about the brain. The brain perceives something and makes it a lot bigger. Especially when you've got dementia. I mean, this is what I've got to deal with, and then whenever I'm working basis, and I would love sometimes to see what they're able to see.
Yeah, that's right. But
it's very awkward, especially you know, you take someone that you don't know on a ghost hunt, and then it turns out you can see they've actually got mental issues. It's very difficult to keep them grounded.
Yes,
and accept things that as like what appears to be, say, activity that's unnormal is actually normal. So you've got to keep your eye on who you've got with you as well.
Yeah, that's it. I do tend to go now with people I know generally, but sometimes I do go out on public events, getting locations.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
they do let me kind of sit in a corner a bit as much as I can.
See, the thing is, though, having public, I mean, we ended up meeting people like Heidi, who's like just hounds you. Then she comes in your head.
Get rid of Heidi. I'd love to meet Heidi.
No, it's great.
And Trevor Davis.
You know, you do make some good. You meet some good people when you have members of the public with you.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, these people you like trusting with your life as well.
Because a lot of the investigations,
some of the buildings are dodgy, and also on the spiritual side, you sort of get to know people quite well, and you trust them more, don't you? Because you're telling them these like really off the wall stories, which in a normal, like you go down the street and say some of the things what have happened, and they go, yeah, okay. But if you're talking to other people on a different level, aren't you?
There's only certain people that I would tell the things that have happened to me and Sally, because we would be locked up, because some of the stuff has just been so mental. You go like, really? Did that really happen? But it did.
Yeah.
You know, and if you told your story, people don't believe you. And I always say to everyone, listen, don't listen to what I'm going to tell you, because this to you is just a story. Go out and have your own experiences. Just try.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried telling my friend, and he goes, well, at least I know you don't lie, but I don't believe in ghosts, sort of thing. It's like, yeah, listen, but yeah, okay, whatever. And it was like really an odd conversation, but you know, this had happened. But I've actually got a bit of a link.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you look at it from a logical point of view, it probably seems really far fetched, but when you actually experience it, it becomes the normal.
It's the normal, yeah. because I have a right issue now with my past life. And he lives at the Robin Hood Legacy, and it's absolutely crazy. Right. It's him.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I was at the National Justice Museum, Nottingham, with Brian J. Cano, and Gary Fields knew that I'd got an issue with this bloke, and that this bloke was going to be at the galleries because this spirit is always there. He sits in the judge's chair because he's a former judge. So Gary Fields was, I don't know, he's picking up a bit what was going on while I was in Nottingham. He was at his home in Liverpool way. And he basically said he's cheesed off now. Well, I'd just got back from sitting in the judge's chair. So, yeah. And, it's just amazing how he could just tune into it. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, right back before I actually went on an organised ghost hunt, someone said to me, I've got a haunted house. And they knew I was interested.
Yeah.
Do you want to come and have a look? And so I took a couple of mates basically so they could film what was happening that night. And it was an old converted church. It was a church of no denomination from 1400 or something.
Wow.
And as we were walking to the house, one of the lads I took with me, his phone went off, and it was his mum, who was a medium, and she was in Manchester, and we were outside of Southampton. And she said, I don't know where you are, and I don't know what you're about to do, but I'm telling you now, there's something there that don't want you there, so be careful.
Oh, wow.
So,
brilliant.
Oh, my God.
So as we went around the house, it turned out that there was 3 spirits there. There was one that was a little bit on the naughty side. He just kept throwing things around. So he was the poltergeist trying to scare everyone. And there was the other 2 that were there to keep him in check so he didn't get too out of hand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a really bizarre night.
Yeah.
But,
I've taken part in an experiment which was remote viewing. It's at Sage Paracon. So the few of us and Richard Eastep had somebody over in the US, and we were at Coombe Abbey in Coventry. And she was actually getting similar stuff to what we were getting.
Yeah.
So I think she couldn't hear us, and she was letting him know what she got, sort of thing, and we couldn't hear her. Then at the end, it was like compared, and
we had someone on just slightly different, but on Saturday we had we were doing a vigil in this hospital that we were talking about, and we had a bloke with headphones on listening to an SB7, so he's got so much white noise he can't hear what's being asked.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And so he was just saying what he could hear coming out, and the amount of times that it was relevant to the questions that was being asked, it was just like, this is really interesting, because he's not getting any influence on what to listen for, but the words are there.
Yeah, that's. I love when it happens.
I've got 2 lots of footage from Shepton Mallet.
Right.
No, not Shepton Mallet. Warwick Castle, where somebody had the headphones on, and I was asking the questions, and a lot of it coming through was relevant. I will put it up, but I just need to show the person first. I've got permission to show it, but I just want to show it first and then sort of put it up there. But it was amazing. Her responses, was spot on with the questions, and she couldn't hear us. So
yeah, no, it's good. It is really
great
good
when you get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the remote viewing is quite a big thing in America, isn't it? I mean, even their military are used now, aren't they? So it's interesting how all these different parts of the spiritual world work together.
That's right. Yeah, because I've started doing lessons where I'm doing readings for people online, and you can do it over a screen like this, and it's like, well, how? Because that's remote, isn't it? You kind of linking into the family and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's like this. Someone sends you a photograph, and then you do a reading from that photo. And you're just like,
that's
how?
Right.
It's something that people, Sally, and people that have been trained to be a medium can just do, and people that aren't mediums can't do it. You think, well, what's the difference? There's obviously a perception in the brain that just don't connect with some people.
Yeah, I think it's openness, because I never thought I could ever sort of communicate with spirit, but now I'm getting better at it. I've been doing like development for 8 years on and off. So yeah, hey, it's going really well. So
yeah, it's good. You know, it's interesting. I mean, there was a point where I was training, this is many years ago, probably 10, 15 years ago, with a medium, and every week we were doing the meditations and then different exercises. And he would bring, you know, everyone bring a flower, everyone bring some fruit. It was something different every time. And it was really interesting to see how something so normal could be used to do a reading on someone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've done that as well with a good friend. Yeah, we sort of did different sort of methods of readings.
And I guess, I suppose, if you're going with that, tarot's the same sort of thing, and it's just reading a tool.
Yeah, that's right.
Again, I see some people that are just amazing at reading tarot cards, but then they're looking a lot deeper than other people, and they see things and they use that and then bring it forward. And other people, it's just an insignificant piece of information on a card, to them it's part of a reading.
Yeah, it is. It's just amazing when you see different people work as well. The way it's all strange, isn't it? It's brilliant though. I love it. So Andy, most people won't go on an investigation because they either don't want to believe or have had a paranormal happening of some sort and just shun it or write it off as I don't want to know. But if when they do go on an investigation, they have a great time.
Yeah, I thought that one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that don't go are men. I think a lot of men are either frightened of what it is, or they're frightened of not being in control of it. I'm not sure what it is, but males seem to have a lot more difficulty with spiritual stuff.
I've got Joe again. People do just have bad vibes. Could be that eye contact for just a bit too long. Certain mannerisms, or is there something a bit deeper we're picking up on?
Yeah. Eye contact's really important, isn't it? Because it's part of the things you learn. You can tell people just by their eyes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Especially for lying. Yeah.
Yeah. They always say psychology. If a person looks at
their eyes when they're lying, it's like their eyes go everywhere, don't they?
But it's the other one is you see that, you know, if people are angry, you look in their eyes and you can see when their mood is changing, easing or getting worse. It's it's bizarre. It's bizarre. You're just almost looking into their souls, isn't it?
Yeah, degree of psychology makes very good tarot card readers. Now, where I used to work, there's this guy who wanted to apply to be on a medium platform or something because he was a cold reader. So he didn't communicate with spirit, but he was sure that he could sort of do a reading with a person and dependent on their replies, you know, work out how to do it fully. And he could do it, you know, just by
you can do quite a convincing reading, but it's when you want to do the specific details when you go, that's all right. Because I've had someone do a reading for me and they're going, oh, there's a male in your past that is in military uniform. Well, of course, that's everybody. There was conscription. Everybody has it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're very, very basic readings. But when it comes down to the finer detail of people's names, how they died, what, you know, coming through and telling people's birthdays and things like that, they can't do it. So you just have to be careful on what you're getting.
I see that, or they start by, is there MD here that knows a John? Well, how many Johns do you want?
Yeah.
That's
Andy, it's me with a dog. Andy, it's me.
My dog's snoring as well.
My dog's just woke up and he's in play mode.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
So we've got two dogs there.
He's a 10-month-old pocket bully and he's still in the puppy stages.
Oh, lovely. Beautiful. We've got relaxation and meditation are both great aids in mediums. When you're relaxed, it's easy to read people or things. Yeah, and
I mean the whole point.
Do go down that route, don't they? Before sort of go.
Yeah, I mean, knowing many mediums, obviously, because we do put on shows, or we did used to put on shows. All of them have said about, and they call it sitting in the power. So it's sitting silently and learning to be within yourself rather than outside. And unfortunately for me, it works. I mean, Sally likes to meditate laying down, so she will lay on the bed, do a meditation, and she can get quite deep into it. But I'd put my head on the pillow to lay down and meditate, and it decides it's sleep time. There's a quilt, there's a pillow. It must be time for sleep. So yeah,
definitely.
It don't really work for me. But
I used to use meditation to send me to sleep though, because like if you can't sleep, you put on the music, and there's an app where you could sort of use it for so long, and then it switch itself off after 5 minutes, and I could meditate to that and fall asleep, which is good.
But
but
then we tried putting YouTube on through the TV, but the trouble was with the TV, it would just keep playing. When
oh gosh,
then
that's
put
the
it
problem,
then put it through the phone, and it was okay. Yeah, so we used to listen to someone called Michelle Sanctuary. It was like nighttime stories, and they were really quite good. But I would only get like 10 minutes into it. They're an hour, and then Sally go, "What do you mean an hour?" Oh, I don't really know. I fell asleep by
it. It's brilliant, isn't it?
I mean, the meditation is obviously, if you're going to be developing, you need the meditation and relaxation.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you've got to be able to visualize. I think like the last close circle I went to with Patricia, a friend did, I found like spirit were trying to jump at me before I went into meditation, and it's really weird. So I don't know.
Yeah,
so
we did find one the other week.
Someone around me.
Yeah. One to try if it's binaural beat. I don't know if you've ever listened to the binaural beat on YouTube, but it absolutely, if you can find it, just look for it. It jumps your head around all over the place, and instead of having a nice smooth meditation where you walk down a path and there's a tree and there's a dog, this will just throw images at you, and it's you see about 12, 15 different images come at you within a 10-minute music session. You think, oh my god! And some of it, obviously, then you've got to try and remember it all to put it all together and work out what it is. And it's just bizarre things. Like, I remember looking at an aircraft from the outside, but just the cockpit window. That's all I could see. I got no idea what sort of window it was.
Wow!
But it was really good.
That's amazing.
As Andy says, practice makes perfect. I totally agree with you, Andy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I did used to do lessons with Lois and Barry John up to Christmas, and
I absolutely love Barry John.
I assume that was online, was it?
Yeah. I did used to have lessons with Barry John because he lives near me anyway. So we just sort of go on a Sunday, but.
I like to meet different mediums because they're all they've got that way about them. They're quite calming because they know there's more, and B, it's just the different ways they all work. I mean,
it's amazing, it really is.
I
think the more you're into it, the more the more you see the different ways they work, and it is lovely, isn't it? When you can see it and notice the difference. I mentioned Gary Fields earlier. Now, he freaked me out the first time I met him. So basically, I was at Warwick Castle doing a private investigation with him and about 13 of us at that time. And he linked his team, so his guides, to my guides. So I was walking in a room and I was saying, oh, there's a man, he's wearing that, I was going around this room about everything what was happening. I thought, what? And it scared the hell out of me. And it's all going out live on Facebook as well. So I was camping that night. And then I was like, I woke up in the middle of the night. I thought, oh my God, like people are going to see me being a medium. And it just scared me. But I think it just kind of shows what level you can get to, maybe if you just work at it, or, it might be achievable.
Yeah.
You don't know.
To be honest, I mean, I look at, Sally, who's been a medium from the moment she was born. It was just fourth generation mediumship, so it's natural. And you look at her and you go, there's no way I could ever be anything like that. But I know you can do psychic mediumship and get into people's energies and try and get little ideas about them from that.
It's
very, very different from paranormal. But I'll tell you where it is interesting in the paranormal, and it's one that one of the mediums said to me, that he would go to the doorway and stand and then expand his energy into all four corners of that room. And then as it comes back into him, he can start feeling where the person is, what injuries they've got, or what's wrong with them. And he would get all their energies come back into him, so he could start reading the room that way.
My God.
That's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah,
because I do pick up pains and things now. Like I can, like
you wait till you get to my age, you'll have a few of them.
Oh God, yeah. I do get pains, but I know if they're not mine. Well, you
especially on a Sunday morning after an investigation, you wake up and you're like, oh, paranormal hangover.
Gosh, sometimes if you go to a location with loads of steps and you've been walking around up and down these steps, and then the next day, like, you get up to go down the hallway and like, can't even get out of bed,
I mean, you were when we were talking earlier about Widley, you're talking about a quarter to half a mile walk.
Get more open about it.
Yeah, if you got half a mile walk down the tunnel and then half a mile back, and then you got 4 of them tunnels, then across a field to do something on the other side, you do get knackered by the end of it.
Yeah, like when we went to Magna, oh my God, Luke says, do you want to walk round first? And you go, yeah. Uh-oh, it took an hour to walk round. So you've lost an hour already. And and it was, you get lost as well, because it was just, you got the like where the steelworks was, and you had a great big walkway over it. Then you've got like different areas off it, and just trying to find stuff was like quite mad. So
so do you look into, a question for both of you, do you look into your venues before you go, or do you wait and see what you pick up and then check after?
See, I much prefer today. When I first started out in paranormal, I was quite naive, and I'm very honest and open about this. I was very, very naive, and the first team that I ever went with, they used to research so that I could bounce off whatever their medium said, right? So if their medium said I sensed, I was with the yes or no sort of woman. And then I thought, when I went obviously freelance and obviously joined another team, I thought, no, I'm not going to look into history. I would rather go out, see what I can pick up, and then then research it. And that's actually worked. It's been a good strategy for me. I mean, it doesn't work for many folk, but it's definitely a strategy that I prefer using.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't look at the history. I really don't want to, because half the time, the spirits that you're going to pick up aren't listed in the history. And the other thing is, once you know or you have an idea of what's there, it influences what you find, because your mind starts looking for that, doesn't it? So
you're after a name. You get King Henry because you've heard he was there, or like you go to East Drive, they've seen the monk. No, it's just a dark shadow. Is it a monk? Are you just saying that because you've heard it? So I just tend to go in sort of blind, but obviously a lot of locations about. You've got, like, I went to Warwick Castle 3 weeks ago, and obviously there's Aleister Crowley. He's been there. He's had connections there. He's run seances there. So there's certain things you do know what happened, but you just try and pull like whatever you can through. To be honest, don't you?
Of course you do. And there's we did have someone down in Cornwall that was offering to take us on a tour of I looked like you were bobbing up and down then. Of Arthur Crowley and everything down there, the cottage he stayed in and everything else. But he did say, like, you'd have to park your car and walk about 2.5 miles. So that's no good for me. I've been knackered.
I was gutted. I toured Scotland last year, and I knew he'd got a place on Loch Lomond, and I was on a camping a caravan site, and and I was on the banks of Loch Lomond. So I drove to find the guy who actually decided to quit his job and go and look for Nessie. And I've actually met this guy before, and I've spoken to him, and I went to try and find him. And I pulled up at the car park. It mentioned Burskin house sort of thing. Like, it was a region of, I thought, oh my God, where's the house? Then realised it was 1.7 miles uphill from my camping site. My camping site was on the shore, and that was in the trees, and I would be able to see it from a campsite. But obviously, it was like virtually flattened, so, but yeah, I certainly saw the...
wasn't the story with that house that they found some bones under the floorboards or something?
There's been a lot of stories, hasn't there?
There's been a lot of stories. I think the most freakiest thing about Burskin House is it's got the same history of events of the fire as what Alistair Cowley had to what Jimmy Page had.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
And that makes me think, is there more to that house?
But what got me, when I was driving to that campsite, I saw a cemetery on the left-hand side, but we were on a single-track road. So I was on my own driving, so you've got to watch the road because it's single-track virtually. And there's this beautiful graveyard. And I really wanted to stop at it, not realising it was that straight at the bottom of the drive of Burskin House.
Yeah.
So I was really drawn to that place, but there's nowhere to park. And then it's only like later I realised where it was. It's like, oh my God, because obviously he would have spent time in there. And oh my God, I wanted to go to Scotland this year, but fuel prices put me off. I did 1,500 miles last year, so
they're going back down.
Again.
They are going back down. Yeah, 173, I think.
184 here. But yeah,
we're winning. Makes a change for the south to be cheaper.
But other things are going up, aren't they? So yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's big. Go on then. Who's going to answer Philip?
Yeah, Philip. Basically, if there are any groups nearby, if there's any reputable mediums or a spiritualist church, anybody like offering circles, it's probably worth just going to a circle, just to sort of learn, really, just to help you understand what's going on as well, to do meditation. And by learning and sort of doing this training to sort of be more open, then it does help you to get more skills and develop more skills, because I always said I had to have a brick hit me before I knew that anything was there on a ghost hunt, and I even had a conversation with an empty bed once. Apparently someone saw a spirit sitting there. I said, is someone sitting there? Yeah, he is. And I said, hello, would you like to talk to me? Can you do da-da-da? And I said, what's he doing? He's laughing at you. Well, can you make a sign that you're here, please, sir? Oh, he's really laughing at you now. And they could actually see his reactions. And I was just talking to the bed, but it does take work. It's taken me 8 years, and I'm actually, there's a service, and I'm actually going to be giving readings at a service. It's an online one, which I've just been asked to do this in October. So it's the first time I've actually mentioned it online. But yeah, it's a full service on through Zoom, I believe, or something. And anyone can join, and you've got all the what happens on a divine service, basically, and then me and 2 other people are going to be doing readings and things. So
no pressure.
Which is
no pressure at all.
Yeah, so I'm having an hour lesson every week, and October.
That'd be interesting.
I gave her a reading last week. I didn't even use my cards. So, and she's really impressed. And then she said she was a tarot card reader. I thought, oh my God, but yeah.
They're the ones, they're the ones to test yourself on, aren't they? Someone else can do it and give you a proper advice on what to do next or what not to do.
So I'm having lessons with Sam Pert at the moment. So he's brilliant. So
Good.
you know, he does invite people of his subscribers to come in and then you know you do give readings. So obviously you don't know them, you've never met them, and yeah, it's quite. Oh, you're reading tonight? What? You know, and last week
it's
went really
interesting.
well, and I really got a good feedback, which is like, oh God, really? You know.
Yeah,
But,
good. Keep cracking at it, girl.
But I think that's kind of my route in a way now. For some reason, it's kind of found me, even though I've kind of avoided it. So, but yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, Tanya said they'll give you so much until you know that, and then they'll move you on to something different. So maybe this is your next stage.
I think, I've always avoided it. But yeah, I kind of think this is, you know, things have happened and it's led this way. So yeah. So
yeah, you can't hide forever.
I know. What are you doing now then? What's your future? What are your future plans?
Well, we've got a small little plan with a hall to do a little bit of development, and we're going to get back out, put on a couple of medium shows, and just see what we're going to come about with. Really
excellent. So, if anyone wants to join your development, if anyone's watching,
at the moment, we've got a very close circle because it's people that haven't. So we're waiting. Whether there will be an open one depends really where we go from here. So we'll just see.
So
see between now and Christmas, between now and Christmas, we'll just develop things as they go.
Definitely, Terry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you've got a church near you, ask if there's any circles, or there's a lot of spiritual pages on Facebook as well. But
there is.
Be careful and make sure you get a reputable one. You know, if you do know people within the community, ask them if they know of anybody. But
yeah, the spiritual community are normally pretty good. They'll pull together and put you in the right direction, won't they?
Yeah, as long as you get a genuine one, you know. Heidi's glad. So happy to see you back, and we wish Sally Ann well as well. So.
Yeah, everything's coming together, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah,
slowly.
It's been a strange time with COVID and stuff, but now you know we're going to be stuck in our house. That's because it's too expensive. But hey,
you'll have to start doing spiritual stuff at home. That's how that's another good thing of doing it, though. You know, we've done plenty in here and learned a lot.
Yeah. Well, I bring them home with me, to be fair. So.
yeah. As like you say, we through one stage for 2 to 3 years, every night we were doing something spiritual, and especially when we had the spiritual cafe. Every night there was a different lesson going on, and it was all different exercises. So you went from like singing bowls through to druid and witchcraft. So every aspect was taught in there. But with that, you attract a lot of energy. So you get a lot of things happening in and around, and so you're inviting it in. Don't get shocked when you jump. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I've always got things falling. You know, I can be in here and something will crash in the other room. Yeah, okay, whatever. You know, just and the cat ball. You know, it's been going off behind me all day, and that there, and it's not done it tonight. But hey, you know.
Yeah, that's me. I've killed the energy in it.
I was pretty.
They were probably telling you not to talk to him. Don't talk to him.
No, it's
but you didn't listen, did you?
I had a plumber earlier who managed to disconnect my electric while I was working from home. So it killed my Wi-Fi and my lappy and the spreadsheet I've been working on. So yeah, that hurt.
You've got to catch that up now, then, have you?
The difference between the wife and the devil, you need to negotiate with the devil.
I totally agree. I totally agree, Joe.
There you go, Joe. Yeah, it's cool. Thanks everyone for listening anyway. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been good.
And see you next week. We'll have another guest next week. I've also got Alex coming up as well. She's from the US. She's absolutely awesome. She's just been a speaker at Paranormal out in the US as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to speaking to her. But look after yourselves. And
see you guys.
Good luck, Bob.
Thank you, ladies.
you, Lois. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 See ya.
Bye.